So this is our storyboard here. On the bottom we have the HRV, then the EDA, and then the pressure. So if we look at the HRV, we can see that it begins by having quite a reaction. Our test person has a reaction to the game, perhaps just because they're being introduced to something new or they're seeing this for the first time. And then the HRV drops to a more normal or concentrated stage here, where the variance is slightly lower. We peak here, which is when the participant seemed to be stressed. They were jumping more times than was actually needed. Return to a more normal phase. The game goes dark, as we can tell that this line means here, which tends to surprise the participant a little bit, which we can see that it perhaps did right here. We return to a more normal stage. It goes dark again, which results in the participant dying. So then we start over. It's a bit more even here for a while. Participant dies again. Doesn't have as heavy of a reaction as he has earlier, perhaps because he didn't make it as far. Starts over, dies once more, has a reaction here with this peak right here. And then, before the game ends, the game goes dark, and we can see that there's a slight difference right here in the readings. Aside from that, we have the EDA, the electrodermal activity, logged. We have the three tests that we did for each participant: the baseline, the game with the disturbance, the orange one, and without, which is the blue one right here. So if we just focus on the blue one for now, we can tell that we certainly have, we started out over here with the latency. It's a little bit smudged, but it seems to be within the correct time frame. Then there's the rise, the amplitude. We never really have much of an amplitude in these individual peaks that we see throughout the graph, but we have a more gradual one, especially if we look right here, which shows that perhaps the stimuli that the game offers mean more when they're added together. The recovery time is quite long for some of these peaks. You can see that the participant actually recovers for longer or more than he actually needed to if we compare to the very beginning. See, this one falls quite a bit here. The deaths sometimes occur here when we can see that the participant is stimulated. But it seems all over, if we look at this blue graph right here, that the participant really isn't aroused that much, especially not without a distraction in the game. And that could mean that, or indicate that the game comes off as boring or soothing to the participant. And then lastly, we have the pressure readings right here. We can tell that whenever there's a going dark or a death, that the participant tends to push a lot harder, especially here, and we see with the deaths, and then towards the end. We can also tell that towards the end, when the game goes faster and you have to jump more frequently, that certainly happens. We have shorter breaks in between, and that the participant also tends to push a lot harder towards the end here. If we actually take that last reading and compare it to a different one, so this bottom one here is with a secondary task, whereas the top one is without, and we can really see that the participant presses harder, generally speaking, in the version with the secondary task, and that they also press a lot more frequently because they're being stressed, and so in order to not fall behind or to get confused, they continually press and press.